most fundamental rules of making money in any market is work the side of scarcity. Quick example, a friend of mine worked for one of these golf second swing, it's called, where golf equipment, where you can come in and buy all this used golf equipment. And I asked him what I thought was an interesting question. I said, what do you need more, golf equipment or customers to buy the golf equipment? He said, interesting question, because it can go either way. What's the most scarce? And he said, we got tons of people who want to buy golf equipment. We've got customers, lining up. What we don't have is enough golf equipment. So their challenge is to get, so to speak, listings on golf clubs and bags and whatever else they do. So you got to know where the money is. So in the real estate business, it switches. Sometimes you need buyers, sometimes you need sellers. It goes up and down and back and forth. I've been in the business since '72 and seen it switch, I don't know, tons of times. Right now, working with a buyer is like bringing sand to a beach. It's just there's just not a lot of value in it. So, and I've got to be careful when I say that, because I get that, there's a comfort zone of working with buyers. It's easier working with them. Of course, I disagree with that. With buyers, you got to work with them forever. They can suck your will to live, and then you write an offer, you're one of five, and good luck, you have to start all over again. So in a multiple offer situation, you've got to ask yourself the question, what would you rather be, the listing agent or the selling agent? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. The listing agent wins every one, and the selling agent wins 20% of it. In fact, I'm going to close my door real quick here. So I guess my first comment would be, we know you're going to work with buyers. So if I can't talk you out of working with buyers, then what I would say is you flat better be selective with buyers. So when I do a presentation like this, I think if I came to work for you, Kevin, in your current market, what would I do? There's certain buyers you got to work with. They're past customers, clients, friends, relatives, and you absolutely owe them your good service. No question about it. But a couple of things in mind. Number one, they'd better be ready to buy now from you. So the three questions I've been teaching with buyers for 100 years. Number one is, how soon do you need to buy? And the answer better be, I don't know, a few weeks. If it's longer than that, great, put them on a drip campaign, do whatever you do for long-term buyers. Number two question is more historical. How long have you been looking, or how many homes have you seen? And get a sense for whether these are perennial lookers. And the third question, and this is really one, if you don't get an answer to this, then you've got to rethink it. But it can be asked in a nice, kind, and gentle way. Say, look, you guys, I look forward to having you, to help you guys buy a house. Well, let me ask you this. If we found one today, this afternoon, that was perfect, that met your needs and in your price range, what would you do? And wait for their answer. And there's an open and a closed way to ask it. You say, would you buy it? Which is a pretty direct, or what would you do, which is a bit more open question. And the answer I want to hear is, gosh, if we found that today, we'd buy it today, right now. Okay, great. Then I'm going to help you out. And then the question is, how do I get out of working with buyers who fail those three questions? And I think you've got to be kind and gentle and courteous and say, look, you guys, I've got 6 buyers that are climbing the walls. They got kids in hotel rooms, and it's kind of triage. These are some people, they need to buy a home literally today if I could find it for them. It sounds to me like your timings have been more flexible, that you actually would feel better taking a little extra time. So here's what I'd like to do, if you'll permit me. And that is, you let me know when your timing changes. You call me, tell me you're ready. I'll work with you in an hour. But right now, if you don't mind, I've got some people that really, really, really need me. So be kind, be gentle, be respectful, but be selective.
And we do have Boomtown. All of our agents have access to that. So what the system is really good at is, for those people that are further out, tag them appropriately, put automation on, and Boomtown, through its AI will let you know when they're actually ready to talk to you. So you can do that triage, focus on those folks that are ready to go today.
Yeah.
Those other ones into the system, let the system work it, and they'll tell you when to call it.
Yeah. Good for you providing Boomtown. A couple of my other training members use it, really like it. And I know it's quite the investment that you make in your agents. So by the way, I hope your agents respect the fact that you invest in them, because I think fewer than 10% of the brokers in America really will spend that extra money and invest in agents. So to all of you listening, be glad you got a guy like Kevin who cares enough to invest in you, because it's really expensive. And one of the standard lines in the business is how to take the broke out of broker. So I have a lot of compassion for people who run companies and overhead and signs and lockboxes and technology and lead generation, all that stuff. And then the agent, well, I want more commission. At some point, the broker, if they're not profitable, you get nothing. So
how about that balance?
So that's how you deal with buyers. So now let's get into getting listings. And I see somebody chatted. Thanks, Kevin. By the way, you've set up your Zoom so it's just you and me, even though there are other participants. How did you do that?
I use a webinar versus a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I just do the meeting part of it. All right, well, let's talk about getting listings. And maybe as a way to start, I'm going to share screen and take everybody to your site, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I see you've done the color match on it. And for those of you who haven't logged in lately, we've spent all year long updating the site to all new ease of navigation. We use the analogy we're the Netflix of real estate training, and the metaphor holds because we create our own content. We also have about 90 faculty that create videos for us. We deliver through the website, as you see here, and we also deliver through the mobile app called Knox Training. And if you click on the top video in the list, it'll always be the most recent. In this case, it is the What's New for February. And it's a short video saying here are the videos we uploaded. And down here in the support materials, click this, opens in PDF, and it's Knox topics by curriculum. And sometimes it's, in fact, Kevin, this might be more applicable to you where you just print it out and you have, it's 13 pages of videos. But sometimes it's nice to scroll through and say, hey, where's a video in here that we could use for some meeting or whatever. So for all of you listening, if you want a printable version of our list, you can certainly do that. But in finding a video, you can type in the word listing. And the good news is you're going to get an answer, but it's going to be 160 videos, which is way overwhelming. So instead, it's probably easier to go over to the left, click on listings, and then I've got the 6 different parts of listing. And I think that in and of itself is a message I'm sending to real estate agents is listing isn't one word. It is 6 categories of things that you do in a listing. First is pre-listing. What do you do before you even get to the property? Pre-listing packages, research, Google, all the different things that you can do. And then having a pre-listing package couriered. And we've got videos on all that. Sam Miller talks about his pre-listing process. It is brilliant. One of the things he does is to have he's got a little envelope with a coupon on it for a local hardware store to get a key made for the house. So you send it in the pre-listing package, say, by the way, Mr. Seller, what I'd like you to do before Thursday night's appointment, if you would please, take this local hardware store and we have a free coupon to get a spare key made. And I think, wow, what a brilliant idea. And I said, how many times do you show up at the house and they have the key? And he says, 50% of his listings, the owners hand him a key.
Nice.
Simple stuff, just simple. And then in the first listing call, and I have said forever and ever, that owners start sizing you up as a real estate agent the second they open the door and see your face. And if they open the door and you're 4.5 minutes late, dressed poorly with on-shine shoes, and you barge into the house and track in sand or whatever, I mean, within 2 minutes, the husband and wife are looking at each other going, no, we can't list with this person. So people get all excited about, what should I say in my listing presentation? How about, show up on time, dress well, make sure you have good breath, your shoes shine, some of these simple things. We forget about how human beings connect with each other. How do they attach and detach from people? And then you can see, this is a mother-daughter team, Kaylor Bortnick. We feature them heavily on their listing process. Venus Morris Griffin, Brandon Small, he gives us a ride to one of his listings and does the pre-listing. Then the seller counseling, and then the listing presentation. So whatever, we have videos that address all 6 parts of that. And I want to show you a couple other things. I just put a new download into the site. In fact, a lot of people look at our site and they see it as, we're watching videos. And I want to let you know that we have a big part of our site that are scripts, graphs, checklists, dialogues, forms that you can use every day. Whether you never watched a video in your life, you've got a daily repository for things that you can use every day. For example, if you want to work expired listings, you can click on the chart, marketing pyramid, horizontal, or we can do the vertical. And it's one that when you are working expires, you can sit down with a homeowner and say, Mr. Seller, thank you for allowing me to do a presentation. Sorry that your listing had expired. What I want to do is review all the marketing that was done on your property prior in the first listing. Now, we know your home didn't sell, but did you get any feedback? Were there any offers? How many showings? What kind of marketing was done, et cetera? Now, you can use this chart as a basis for your expired listing presentation. But now I want to take you to scripts and dialogues, listing questions, and checklists. I just went through this yesterday, and I updated the whole thing, and I put it in a reasonable order. And for all of you, my assignment is every single one of you log in right now, print it out, and in whatever binder you use on your listing presentation, whether it's a legal pad or whatever, you have these pages underneath it. In fact, you don't even have to hide it from a seller. You say, Mr. Seller, I have a list of questions that I like to go through to make sure that I completely understand your situation. And then you go through and you ask about their current home, the reason for moving, motivation. And by the way, reason and motivation are different. Reason is more logical. We have been transferred. We need a bigger home. We are moving to Dallas. Motivation is, why have you accepted the transfer? Why do you want a bigger home for this child or whatever? You get into the feelings. Then the implication questions, basically figuring out, if the worst happened, what would you guys do? A great question. By the way, Mr. I'm just curious, what would happen if your home didn't sell? And if they say, well, if it don't sell, we just stay here. Kids love coming to visit us in Florida. Well, now you got a challenge there. And then you can talk about their destination, urgency, every competition. You can just
spin selling going on there, David.
Pardon?
A little spin selling, situation, problem, implication.
Spin, that's right. The book Spin Selling. Have you read that book?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually a certified spin coach.
Well, there you go. Well, we have a lot of videos on spin selling in here, right?
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
Yeah, because I went through the book, read it, thought it was brilliant. Neil Rackham was the author. And so I tried to distill it into our site to use those. But yeah, situation, problem, implication. Yeah, exactly. So expectations. By the way, for those of you listening, this is a secret way to get listings. You're probably going to be in competition, whether they tell you or not. But some of the great questions you can ask is, thank you very much for considering the service of a realtor. Have you used a realtor before? What were the experiences been? What did you like? What did you dislike? What do you get into their heads and find out what it is they're expecting of a real estate agent? Because the other agents are going to ask this. So now you have a leg up on them. You know what their challenges are. It could be something as simple as, well, the last agent we listed with put it on the market. We didn't hear from them forever. I ran into a grocery store and they said, don't I know you? And I go, yeah, you've got our house listed, and they go on and complain about they haven't heard from their agent for 3 months. Well, guess what you're going to cover tonight in the listing presentation? You're probably going to go through your policies and procedures for maintaining contact with sellers and giving them feedback. And you're going to make a big deal out of it. And they're going to say, great, thank you very much. Then on the last page is a checklist. And, I've done a lot of things that required checklists. I was a pilot, race car driver, scuba diver. So I live and travel. So everything I do is by a checklist. So print this out. You can change it, do whatever you want. But on every listing, go through and make sure your checklist is covered. So Kevin, I want to make sure that all your agents know they have access to that. And while I'm at it, does everybody know about the mobile app?
They should. We talk about it.
I guess
every week we send out a this week at OneBlue email.
Okay.
And the past couple of weeks we've been featuring each week 1, week 2. We're on week 3 of the 10-week process.
Okay. Well, it's the Knox training. Then when you tap on it, it'll emulate the website and everything. So now let's get. So I wanted to begin today with, with the questions, because seek first. There you go. By the way, you got to do the pull down to refresh because it's still on January. By the way, for all of you, if you go into the app and it shows January, you need to do the pull down, and that's how you refresh an app. There you go. Now it's refreshed. And while I'm at it, sometimes I forget to tell the most obvious things, but in the upper right-hand corner of the video, you'll see a headphone icon. And when you tap on that, it disables the video, saving your data, if that's an issue. But more importantly, it plays the audio only. So you guys have 500 podcasts. So when you're driving to an appointment on listing and you want to play the 7 steps to handling rapport, the key questions to ask, or commission, whatever, listen to it. It was, I think, Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins, and back in the audio tape days, said, you got to have your house be your car needs to be a university on wheels. You should be listening to good stuff while you're driving. So where should I start? Do you want to get into prospecting, Kevin, or the actual showing up at the door?
Everything. We had a couple questions that came in from Janet, and one of them was, what's the best way to prospect for listings? Is door knocking still relevant in today's era? That was one of her questions. I'm trying to find the other ones. So yeah, just kind of like a high level of all the parts of it. And folks, if you have questions, chime in on the chat.
Yeah.
You have David Knox. I mean, he's a keynote speaker at like NAR's a global conference. You have him one-on-one in this intimate setting. Please ask questions.
Yeah, ask, fire away. I love questions. I actually, that's the best. That's why I do these. I like the two-way interaction because I can figure out what people are really dealing with. I'm going to start with a quote from a good buddy of mine named Dave Beeson. When asked by an audience, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I door knock this? You know, and agents ask all these questions, and he had a simple answer. He says, anything works and nothing doesn't. So as simple as that is, do something. Now, obviously the question is, do what? Where do I focus? I think it depends on whether you're experienced or new. That we begin with that. If you're a new agent, 100% of your business is going to be with a person you probably never met before, because your current sphere of influence is going to wait till you get your act together. So that it's axiomatic. You can be working open house for sale by owners, expireds, and things like that. You can still work your sphere of influence, but don't feel bad if they're hesitant to list with you till they see a track record. For those of you who are experienced agents, you've been in the business, you got a book of business, you're well known, you're well respected. Your best source is going to be your sphere of influence. I mean, that's true of all businesses. So I guess given that, I wonder where I should start. I guess I'll start this way. Imagine if you were all on a game show today, and the game show is get a listing today. Join us today. Get a listing today for $250,000. We're going to send all of you on the field. You're going to come back into the TV studio at 4 o'clock today, and whoever has a listing wins $250,000. The listing can't be your own home. It's got to be a real listing. So think about that. Where would you go to get a listing by 4 o'clock today? In fact, maybe have everybody just type in I'm talking a real legitimate listing. Definition is A, they want to move. They're really going to move. They're really going to sell. And B, they want to list with a realtor. Where would you go to get a listing in 8 hours? Have everybody type in their answer. And I can't see the chat, can I?
You should be able to.
Oh, now I can. There we go.
If you had 8 hours, answer the question in the chat, folks.
I think it's Lane. I think it's Lane Robinson. Correct answer. Ian. Correct answer. The correct answer goes to Ian. So he wins the $250,000 because he answered first. Nobody else wants to answer. They're embarrassed and they might give the wrong answer.
There's no such thing as a wrong answer, folks. Come on.
And Jan Bolin, you also win $250,000. It's going to be an expensive day.
Some Monopoly money, though. Monopoly money.
Yep. The answer is expireds. Why is the answer expireds? I come up with 3 reasons. Number one, they already want to move. So we've solved that issue. How do you know? They put their home in the market. Number two, they want to list with the realtor because they did. And number three, very few agents in America will work expireds. They're afraid, they're scared. They have got a million reasons not to do it. I think if there's any source that takes the highest amount of courage to work, it would be expireds and for sale by owners. Which is why when I interview some of the top agents in America, they started with for sale by owners and expired. That becomes the boot camp of a successful career. Even Venus Morris Griffin, who did 1.9 million in GCI last year, I was talking to her the other day. I said, Venus, what are you doing to get business? You all sphere of influence now. She said, well, obviously a lot of my business comes from my repeat business, but I still knock on for sale by owners. I hold open houses. I do the same thing I did when I got started. So the irony of it is, the people with your company, Kevin, have been in the business 5, 10, 15 years. They're the ones that should work for sale by owners because they don't care if they don't get them. And they also are so skillful. It's like, this is baby food. So let's go back to expires. How do you work them? My best suggestion would be a personal knock on the door. I don't like phone because if they're a do not call, they've been bombarded with calls and they hate phone calls. Email, you probably can't get it anyway, and if you could, they're going to delete it. Text, I think that really annoys people, and it also means you're going to have their number. So I think knocking on the door. So I would get my list of expired listings together, put it on a map and try to go through in order and start going around knocking on doors. And depending on the neighborhood, if both spouses work, maybe it's going to be an evening and a weekend thing. If you would like to proceed these calls with a quick mailing, that might be the other way to do it, a direct physical mail. We have a video in here from one of your agents who does this.
He actually left us and went to 100% shop and then is now out of the business. So he got tired. He got burnt out on real estate, and he's actually doing skydiving instructing now.
Oh, well,
And
working for the Impact Parachute Company, maybe.
yep.
uh,
That's a great video. It was filmed right out front of our door.
yeah, and I think his techniques are still valid.
They
So
work.
for those of you who have the courage to work expired, get the list of, are there a lot of them in your market, first of all, Kevin?
Yep.
Like how many within the reasonable distance of your office?
Well, we have agents throughout Central Florida, so within that area, we're probably looking at 100 plus a day.
100 a day, geez. Well, I think I'd do that. The challenge you're going to have with it is geographically driving all around. That's one challenge. Number two is, what percentage of them have, by the time you get there, have already relisted with their current agent, do you think?
Very few. I'm still hearing a lot from folks that do work them that they're not getting bombarded like they used to. A lot of folks a lot of agents have this preconceived notion that everybody's trying to get them, so they stopped and backed off a little bit.
Yeah,
so there's an opening. If you're actually doing it, you're not going to be one of 50. You might be one of 5.
Yep. I guess what I might do is I'd probably type up a nice letter on the company letterhead and introducing myself. And, we do a lot of work in the area, and, we're sorry to see that your listing expired. And, there's only 3 reasons why a listing expired. And if you'll give me 10 or 15 minutes, the honor of a 10 or 15-minute interview, I can tell you which of the 3 it is. And you bring that letter with you. And then I would just knock on the door. Hey, I'm David Knox with Century 21 OneBlue, and I saw your listing expired, and I wanted to stop by to see if you have relisted. It's just right to the point. I just want, have you relisted? Because if the answer is yes, get out of there, go to the next house. If the answer is no, then the second question would be, is your home still for sale, or are you still moving? And if the answer is no, I might say, what tell me why? Well, because we're sick and tired of doing it. We got disappointed. Then I might just probe that and say, if you could sell, would you still want to move, and kind of engage them in that conversation? So first answer, have you relisted? No. Is it still for sale? Yes. Third question would be, would it be all right if I took a look at your home? They go, what the heck do you want to see it? Why do you want to see it? 2 reasons. Number one is, by seeing your home, it may trigger in me an agent and or a prospect that would consider this home. I personally haven't worked this neighborhood lately, and that's why you haven't seen me show the property. But number 2, Mr. Marcel, there's only 3 reasons why homes don't sell in this market. And if you were to give me 10 or 15 minutes, let me ask you a few questions. I'll tell you which of the 3 it is. Mm-hmm. And from there, at least you can go forward and make a plan. Would that be of help to you? And see what they say. And then you go through and you tour the property and maybe talk condition first, and you are honest. You point out you got too much stuff on the kitchen counter. This carpeting is worn. This thing squeaks. Your pool needs to be this, that, or the other. Then number 2, I would talk about marketing. I'd go through that pyramid that I showed you, and bring that with you, by the way. And then you can take a pen and go through. Say, well, we know it didn't sell. How far up did the previous agent get? Then you'll find out if that agent made some mistakes. Be ready for the fact that the previous agent may have done everything right. So be careful. You can't accuse this agent of doing something wrong if you can't do anything better. Chances are they're probably going to want a new start anyway. And then the third, obviously, is going to be price. And so the other thing you're going to have on this, when you're knocking on the door, you should know what their latest asking price was, and you should have some familiarity with the neighborhood. And just say, Mr. Marcelli, the last asking price, according to my record, was $450,000. Am I correct? Yeah, I think, we were $450,000. I was taking a look at just very quickly some of the sales in the neighborhood. Most of them are in the low 400s. We haven't seen a hit mid 400s yet. So I think you were stretching the market a bit. And one of the things we do is a competitive market analysis to nail that down more accurately. But that's what I see, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. So based on that, would you like to have a fresh start? And, and I would say to you, even if you never got a listing, the practice you get from doing this is worth it. Practice you get. So the next thing is for sale by owners. Once again, takes a lot of courage to work for sale by owner. And as Bob Wolf says, agents don't need 20 new techniques. They need 20 seconds of courage. 20 seconds of courage. You drive by for sale by owner, you're scared to death, your palms sweat. Should I call? What's I going to say? Just go to the door, knock on the door. Treat it like a day at the zoo. I wonder what's in this cage. And I think the opening line for sale by owner would be, hey, my name is David Knox with Century 21. I saw you were selling your home, and I just wanted to introduce myself. Mm-hmm. You'll notice that very short opening statements stop and wait and count. You might have to 0, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th second to go, indicating they're ready for you to talk some more, or we ain't going to listen with no relator. So you can start getting the gauge there. And if they're ready to talk to you, I think I would begin with asking about their marketing. So, how's your marketing been going? Who's come through your home? What kind of interest are they showing? Where are you folks moving? How soon do you need to be moved? What's your timing? And you can actually use my list of listing questions. But be careful. I don't want to get too far into the listing questions until I'm really ready to do a listing presentation. So I'm more, what's their situation as it relates to selling it on their own. And after that, the real key to working for sale by owners is not technique, it's persistence. It's just really going back every 5 or 6, 7 days and just showing your face, saying hello, how's it going? Hey, all good to see you. Just want to let you know I'm still in the neighborhood. Got a new listing down the street, get some good activity. How's your activity been? Great. Anything I can do for you? By the way, have you have a copy of our mortgage rates in the, if you're selling your home, by the way, do you have a title insurance company? And you can, every time you drop by, you can give them something that may be of use. But I think one of the questions I would ask every time, so how's it going? And at some point they're going to go, well, it's going. Ooh, you don't sound quite as happy this time. Nah, not going well at all. We're sick and tired of this. We have, and you'll sense their frustration. And one of the analogies I use is I'll ask all of your participants today, have any of you sold a car, your own car? On day one, it's like, who shall I let buy this fine automobile? And after about a week of this, you leave the keys in it and hope somebody steals it. Well, for sale by owners, go through that same period of frustration. And you can't really speed it up. You're going to have to wait for it to happen. It's like recruiting an agent from another company. Sometimes you just got to wait till they're ready, and you just be there for them. Jerry Seinfeld had a good answer for that. He was talking to him and he said, oh, I see your girlfriend broke up with her boyfriend. Yeah, I guess she did. I'd really like to meet her. How should I do that? And he wasn't sure how to pursue it. So the line in the show was, I'll be there for you. And maybe that's kind of the answer for sale managers. You got to let them know you'll be there for them. And at some point after 6, 7, 8 weeks, they're going to get sick and tired, and they're going to be ready to hear a listing presentation. So those two are the old school, high courage ways to get listings. But I'll tell you what, if I was in a market and I needed money right away, that's what I'd do. For those of you who like the high tech stuff and you like Facebook, social media, you can see a video that Sam Miller did. He's from Ohio, and he really does well. Sorry, buddy needed to come up and say hi. Do you want to say hi? This is Kevin.
Hi, buddy.
If it wasn't for Kevin, you wouldn't be having dog food. So Sam Miller posts a video called 2 Minutes on Tuesday, does about once a month. He doesn't like to overdo it. But he said, hey, this is Sam Miller. It's 2 Minutes on Tuesday. And right now we got a real shortage of inventory market. And we've got a lot of buyers looking to buy. And I've got 6 buyers that are desperate to find a home within this week. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to read the characteristics, specifications that these people are looking for. And if those of you listening own a home that fits those characteristics and are considering moving, please give me a call. Mm-hmm. And he says, the first buyer have looking for between 250, 275, 3 beds, 2 baths, double garage, got to be a non-smoking, has to have this, that, and the other thing. And he's very specific. And they're real buyers. You don't be violating the code of ethics and make this stuff up. And then he'll read 5 or 6 of them. And you can hear him, the video is in there. You can actually hear, we videotaped him making the video. And I think we have a screenshot of the results he gets. And people come back within minutes of, raising their hand saying, yeah, we fit that, give us a call. So that would be a way to have people raise their hand and say, yeah, we're thinking of moving. But the big one's obviously going to be sphere of influence. The benefit of that is they know you, they like you, they trust you. They're less likely to interview other agents, or far less likely to cut your commission. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you got to have a really good database. I said, what's your database situation, Kevin?
We have about 22,000 leads.
But I mean, for each agent, do they have a CRM that has their own people in it?
Yeah, Boomtown.
Okay, and has everybody uploaded their people?
Yeah, most of them have. Some of them could do better, but yeah.
Well, for those of that could do better, my suggestion would be hire a kid. And I'm dead serious about find a kid who's good at fundamental data management, knows how to use Excel, CSV files, import, export, and get the kid. Give them your box of business cards, barn napkins, all the stuff you have. Go through your emails. Go through every single thing that has human names in it, and get it all into one place. Get a new Excel CSV file if you want, then get it into your CRM, and then go through one at a time and start cleaning them up with cell phones, birthdays, anniversaries, purchase dates, whatever. And that becomes a gold mine. Steve Murray said the most valuable thing to a realtor in coming years is going to be your database. And sadly, we got a lot of agents, they don't have them, they don't know how to use it. And they go, well, I'm not very good at technology. You don't have to be. There's a lot of people that are good at it. I use Infusionsoft, and I still don't know how to use half the features. I mean, I'm pretty high tech, so I can get it. But when I really want high tech, I say, Mary, can you run a report on this, that, or the other thing? I could learn to do it. I choose not to because Mary can do it. So, but you've got to have a database where you can go through, and then Kevin, I know you're a high tech guy. You can teach them the scripts on how to have a script for next call. Who should I be calling today? And it's the person, you make a call to somebody and they say, call me back on February 6th. Well, that should pop up today. And you say, hey, Jim and Karen, I talked to you last November. You said you guys were looking at moving in spring. So I thought I'd give you a call, see where you are with, oh gosh, good timing. Yeah, Sherry and I are thinking about, we've got, that's how this business is done. Mm-hmm. So number one, you got to have a good CRM, good database, have it accurate. Now you got to make contact with them. I'm going to open with a story. It's actually quick tip 55 at our training. A woman that works for me named Erin was really upset with her realtor and wanted a referral from me. And I said, my gosh, I know so many realtors here in Twin Cities, happy to refer you. And then I said, hey, wait a minute, work with my realtor, the woman who sold my home next door to your parents. And she said, I'd love to. Okay, great. She said, what's her name? And I said, her name is, oh, for gosh sake. I thought of it, I said, I can't remember her name. And I said, I'm so sorry. I can't remember her name. I said, I got to go into my purchase agreement file. I give you a call. So I went into my 11021 Mount Curve Road, scroll it down, found the purchase, scroll to the bottom. Oh, Heidi. Sure. How could I forget Heidi? I'll tell you, I could forget Heidi. I haven't heard from her since June of 2012 is when I sold my home. And it was January 2019 when Erin was asking for referrals. So we're talking 7 years. Mm-hmm. So she's good enough that I took the extra mile. I don't know how many people will do this, but I did. So I email Heidi, and I'm going to show you the email that I actually sent her. So this is the email. I basically said, haven't heard from you. So when Erin asked for a realtor, I said, yeah, how about working my, she was good, but I forgot your name. Oh yeah, Heidi. And then this embarrassing question. So are you still in the real estate business? So to all of you, if anyone asked you that question, you suck at marketing. So she writes back, you can tell she's a bit sheepish. And then she says, yes, we're still in the business and are still trying to find time to set up a contact plan for our past clients. Gosh, do you think after 7 years you could have texted, written, called, skywrite, smoke signals, postcard, pop by? Come on. Uh-huh. There's a plethora of information and rantings by every single speaker, Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Cork. You can go down to every single speaker trainer on the planet Earth, rants and beats the hell out of get in touch with your past clients.
The way I teach it, David,
nobody does it.
Your sphere, if I showed most people a picture of a green gecko and asked what company is that, most people would say Geico. So as quickly as you say Geico, your sphere and your past customers, if I ask, who do you know in real estate, they should name your name just as fast as the Geico.
Yeah. There's a guy in the business. I like him. He's a good guy, kind of young and upcoming speaker. He is now where I was when I started speaking, named Jared James. Good guy. Does a lot of stuff on technology. I think he's worked for you. And I saw him up on stage at some conference. And he made a comment that he said something like 60 or 80% of people today are going to the internet to find their realtor. And he said, and he was using that as an example of don't work your sphere of influence, be responsive to online leads. And I agree, you better be responsive to online leads in this market. But I'm going to suggest, and if I have lunch with Jared again, I'm going to say the 60-some% of people going online to find their realtor is not the cause of your problem. It's the effect. It's the effect of realtors not staying in touch with their past customers and clients. They got no place else to go. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not happy with Delta Airlines, I'm going to go on, well, I wouldn't, but somebody might go on Expedia and pick a flight that way. Whereas if I feel loyalty to an airline, I'm going to go to delta.com. So I believe that all these people going online to find the realtors because they can't even remember the realtor's name like I couldn't. Mm-hmm. So I know I rant about this, but agents go, I don't have enough listings. I don't have, well, if you talk to your past customers, and I ask this in audiences and you can see their heads go down, they know. And why don't they talk to them? I've heard people say, what if I haven't talked to them in 5 years? Well, wait another year. Then it'll be 6 years. And pretty soon everybody dies and takes care of it. So here's my assignment to everybody is to call your past clients. And by the way, following my own advice. I printed out a list of all, I don't know, 300 and some real estate training members. These are all the subscribers to our online training. And the top of it, and I like printing it out. I'm sometimes analog when I'm making calls. It's called my RET 2020 thank you calls. And I start with I go down, they're sorted by how many agents in the company. And I start with the largest one. So I go down here and you can see LM, left message, check mark is I reached them. And so I just started this the other day. So I'm going to go, I don't know how long this is going to take me. It may take me a month or two. But my better question is how long will it take if I don't do it? Forever. Yep. So I'm going to go through. And so my assignment to you, there's 3 things to do when you're calling past clients. Thank, invite, inform. Thank, invite, inform. First one is thank. It's the easy one. For those of you who have past customers and clients, for those of you who get referrals, what you do is call them up and thank them. And by the way, Kevin referred me to another company for our online training, and I thank you by email. And I thank you by handwritten note, which should be coming to you. I guess I'm giving it away now. And I also sent you a hand-signed coffee mug. Well,
and she's coming by today. She actually is in town. We're going to a conference tomorrow together. So she's going to be popping by the office. So she's all excited.
Well, good. And I sent her a coffee cup. Don't tell her, though. I just soon. So one of the things I do, I have these, I like these coffee cups, and I have a permanent marker, and I sign them, and I say thank you, and we send them out to our new customers. And I've gotten photos back. People hold up the coffee cup with my signature on it. And I guess they consider it valuable because I had somebody send me a picture of the coffee cup smashed in pieces from UPS. And she said, we're so sorry it got broken in shipping. Do you think David would send us another one? Of course we will. So I don't know. Those are some things that I do. You guys can all pick your own stuff. But first thing you do is thank. So here's how it goes. Kevin, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, he does live his preaching. I mean, I've gotten follow-up, just random note cards from David in the past. He sends out the Thanksgiving card. I get that every year, but also just random. I've gotten probably 1 or 2 a year, I think, just saying thank you for being a part of our company. So it works, and it's meaningful. It actually, I mean, how many people send handwritten note cards anymore?
Yeah.
And for our agents, you have the ability. We give you. You want to, cards, they're branded.
Yep. So right here in my top drawer, I don't have to go too far to get this. These are my David Knox notes. They're embossed. In fact, when I went to my printer and I said, what are the most expensive cards you have? And she told me what it was. And I said, I'll take a box of those. So it was $2,000 for this box.
Right here, David, right behind me.
Yeah, exactly. So going down my list, thank, invite, inform. So all you do is get on your phone today, right after the Zoom, pick one past client and call them up and thank them. And the conversation can go, hey, it's David Knox. We begin 2020. I just want you to know I just want to express my gratitude for my customers and clients, and I'm calling to thank you very much for listing your home with me. I hope all is well with you. And that's it. Now, if you have to leave a message, which you probably do a lot, I like to open and close with the phone number. Hey, it's David Knox, 612-590-8955. I'm calling today. Thank, et cetera, et cetera. And again, my number is, if there's anything I can do for you, here's the number. So hopefully these calls are so much fun to make. Try to do it at a time when you're more likely to reach them, evenings, weekends, at their work. And just say, hey, Bob, I'm just calling you up because I really, really appreciate your business. Thank you so much for purchasing your home through me. And I just really appreciate your business. The question is, do you turn it into a business call? And the answer is yes and no. No would be just don't. Leave it as a pure thank you call. But what may happen is they'll turn it into a business call. Well, thanks very much for calling. How's the business going? And so, oh my gosh, it's great. Interest rates are about the lowest I've ever seen. But oh my gosh, is it ever shortage of inventory market today? Man, homes are selling within about 4.5 minutes. We can't get the ink dry on a listing before they sell. Really? Yeah, my gosh. Well, that sounds interesting. Yeah. How long you guys been in your home now? About 6 years, right? Yeah. How much longer do you think you'll stay? And there is the number one question that you need to ask every human being from this day forward. And I'm going to show you how to remind yourself to ask this. I'm going to share a screen. Go back to your site. I'm going to go to scripts and dialogues. Go down to RET prospecting question mini card designed for a mobile device. Prints 8.5 by 11. Cut, size, print. Put it on the back of your mobile device. And there's the number one question you need to be asking all human beings today. How much longer do you plan to stay in your current home? It can be cocktail conversation, running into people, whatever it is. You can just say, it's a casual question. And then, of course, my 3 buyer questions, buyer conversion questions. And then if you really want to specifically ask for a referral, instead of saying, I love referrals, never too busy to ask for referrals. Do you know if anybody wants to buy or sell? I mean, they're cute, but if you really want to get an answer, it's an open, time-based question. You know what, of all of your friends or of all of your neighbors, who do you think would be the next one to make a move? So print that question out. It's the RET Prospecting Questions card. Print it out, put it on the back of your phone, anywhere that you make calls. So call everybody in your database, thank them for the business. Number 2 is invite. That means you've got to have an event. So that's more difficult. So this is more for your experienced agents with a bigger budget. Or maybe not. You can invite them to meet you down at a bar. You know, you can go to the bartender when you're, you know, seasons 52 and say, hey, I got $200. How many drink tickets can I get for this? Well, I'll give you drink tickets and 2 appetizers. Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to invite some friends down to join me on Friday. Now you'll do a Facebook post. Join me at season 52 at 4:30. Thank God it's Friday, or TGI, just use the letters. You never know. But invite them down, and then you can get on the phone and call them. You have an excuse to call people. The beauty of thanking and inviting is you're not calling up to ask for business. And that's what agents are afraid of. I don't want to be that salesperson. They want to give rather than receive. And by the way, I'm not making fun of that. I don't mean to mock that. I totally get that. So then you can call people and say, hey, you know what? I just want to get together with some of my good friends, past customers, clients, and come on down to season 52, first round's on me, 4:30, see ya. If you want to get bigger, you can wrap events around charity event. Kevin, if you and your whole office want to put together an event, have every agent in your office write you a check for $200. Do not be the one to pay for this. They pay for it. You have everybody write a check for $100, $200, and whatever you think the budget is for an event. And I've seen your office. I've been there. You got a nice parking lot where you could set up a barbecue. You know, hire somebody to come up and do barbecue, hamburgers, burgers, or whatever. And say, come on down and have a burger on us or something. And when's Easter? Well, we're a long way from Easter, but I've seen people do Easter parties where they get the Easter bunny and, you know, bring your kids down to see the Easter bunny or something. Or, my gosh, we still got enough time for a Valentines deal. You know, maybe you get a big box of cookies and red Valentine's flowers in your office and fill it up and have everybody chip in. And then everybody get on the phone and say, you know, we want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. If you want some flowers for that day, come on down and get a box of candy or cookies and a bouquet of flowers. Come to our office on this day between X and Y and have people come to the office. So what's it going to cost? You know, you call 100 of your clients, 12 of them show up. It's $20 a client for the flowers in the box. So you got $250 invested. You know, that's the way you have to think. And here's the point I want to make. It doesn't matter how many clients show up for the event. You'd like to have them there because you get the one-on-one. What's important is you have a reason to call that isn't asking for business. And I promise you, Heidi, my realtor, called me up and said, hey, we're sponsoring something here, there, the other thing. And I said, well, I'm not in town, Heidi, but thanks for the invitation. I still got invited to something. And the third thing you can do, and that's a simple inform, and pick what is, just call them up and inform what's going on in the market, and just say, and this might be a ton of voicemails where you just say, hey, it's David Knox, 612-590-8955. Calling to let you know 2 things. Number 1, interest rates are the lowest I've seen since I've been in the business. Number 2, our days on market is shortest I've ever seen. It is a perfect market for selling. And if you're interested in hearing more, give me a call. Here's my phone number again. Are you ready? Here it goes, 612-590-8955. Always open and close with the phone number. And just fire out as many as them, fire them up, you know. And do that at a time where you're going to be around for a few hours. So when they start returning the calls, you're there to do it. I like to do that when I'm in the office. That way somebody else can cover the phones if I get 2 at once. So I'm going to just stop, take a breath, turn it back to you, Kevin, see what, and anybody else has a question as well. I'd love to take questions.
Let's see. I had one from Jan. Where'd it go? Hold on. Jan, what was your question?
You can unmute Jan if you'd like.
Yeah, everybody's allowed to talk if they want to. Oh, maybe it's not. I have to do it again. All right. Jan, there you go. You should be allowed to talk now. If you have questions, you can just talk.
One of mine was, you answered it. It was about that first impression. And I really love just show up on time is a really good first impression. So anything else?
Go ahead.
Anything else you can give us on just a first really nice business impression of that I care, I really, I really want your business? Is there a really good strategy
Yes,
or?
yes, there is. So do we have time to talk about the listing presentation itself? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so you got a listing appointment, whatever the time is. Obviously you're going to do your research. If for no other reason out of curiosity, you might even drive by the home, if you really want to go the full thing, you drive by or you have somebody drive by the home and take a picture of it. Take it on a good angle, 45-degree angle. You can do just some fundamental touch up to it. And then what you can do is put a feature sheet together that has their photo on the feature sheet and print out a single one-off and just say, this would be a sample of how we might feature your property or whatever. And now you want to put together a pre-listing package, handwritten note from you, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, I look forward to meeting with you. I consider it an honor. We consider to market your home. I have put this package together to both introduce myself and our capabilities. And also there's a few things that I would like to ask of you prior to my arrival. And then you can maybe tell them about it verbally and give them homework. You might say, by the way, one of the ways that we get the most money for homes in this market is two things. Number one, we ask our sellers to write down their 5 favorite features and 5 drawbacks. That way we know what to promote in our marketing and what to get prepared for should we have an objection. Number 2 is the list of all improvements made to your home since the day you purchased it. So if you would please put down the date and the amount, and if you go to Real Estate Live 25, these forms are already there. And give them a couple homework assignments. And the other one, as I mentioned earlier, Sam Miller asked for a spare house key. Now, don't go overboard on this. You pick whatever you think would be a good homework assignment. The benefit of the homework assignment is when you get there, you can gauge how close you are to getting the listing. If they go, well, yeah, we ain't going to do this stupid homework. We're talking a lot of realtors, so, we ain't going to do no homework. I didn't do it when I was in college. I ain't going to do it now. You go, okay, I got some work to do. But if they say, yeah, here's this, if they hand you the homework and if they hand you the spare key, I'd go with that. That's a pretty good indication. So now you have, and by the way, in the last, 100 seminars I've done, I've asked audiences if they do pre-listing packages, and almost none of them do it. I quit teaching pre-listing packages because I thought it was too basic. I was embarrassed to teach that for fear somebody might say, oh yeah, David's teaching some basics. And now I'm going, are you serious? The pre-listing package has become advanced? What do you have there?
We have a pre-done pre-listing booklet for them to be able to drop off.
Okay, I'm going to add to that. First of all, good thing you have it. Here's my assignment to all of you. Get that booklet, have it pre-delivered, but I want you to take a marker and write on 5 or 6 of those pages. Mark it up, circle, Jim, take a look at this. You asked me about this. You circle this, you underline it, you sign it, put ink all over it. Don't wreck it, but make it for them. If it's just handed like that, people go, oh yeah, and they trash it. But if you've written on it, and maybe even put those little sticky notes like the sign here, sticky note, and say, this is really important. It engages them in it. So you've got to make it yours. And so I'm so glad you had that. So everybody use that. Now, you've done the research on the property. You're going to do a CMA to the degree that you can. You always can get within 90% of value without even seeing the home. So be ready. So when you get there, if they're ready to list, you're ready to list. So you got a 7 o'clock listing presentation. I would like to see you in the neighborhood at 6:30. Drive around, new listings, new sales, check the neighborhood, depending on what your familiarity with it is. And then about 15 minutes before the appointed time, just go through it. This is what I do in my seminars. I think, Kevin, when I did that seminar for you, didn't I sneak away for a while?
No.
Well, no, you didn't see it. I did, though. But before I did a seminar for you, we got everything all set up, and then I just disappeared. And I just go, I just go sit down, relax, and kind of meditate and take a breath and go, okay, what am I doing today? What's my topic? What's most important? Sometimes I even say a prayer that please let everything I say today be for the benefit of my audience, to try to get in my good frame of mind. So do a little meditation, take a look at your listing notes, and then, 10 minutes before, just do nothing. Turn off your phone, take a few breaths, get yourself into the proper space, check your breath, look at your shoes, check yourself out, see how you look. And then if you got a 7 o'clock, it's 6:58, 6:59, walk up to the front door, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Right on time. Try to time it to the 0. Don't go early because they're shoving newspapers under the sofa, but right on time. And then they open up the door and you smile, hi, I'm David Knox here for our 7 o'clock appointment. And they do this. If they look at their watch, they're saying, hey, dude, you're on time. because the other agents won't be. I promise you that. Realtors are not on time. In fact, I want to show you something. This is something, where is it? It's Tom Hanks. Where are you, Tom? Oh, come on, come on. Here it is. And if you saw Golden Globes,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. I'm going to share screen. I love Ricky Gervais, so I just really enjoy watching him. But this was Tom Hanks' speech when he accepted it, and he goes on and did a nice speech. And then he said, hey, look, you actors, you know what your job is? You know what your job is? You got to show up on time, and you have to know the text, and you have to have a head full of ideas. Otherwise, I can't do my job. And even people in my office came back to me and said, did you see Tom Hanks? I said, yeah, when he talked about being on time. Yes, I saw that. I'm going to publish that for all ages. Show up on time. I think the most lame, unprofessional, bottom-feeding, suck-your-with-a-lip thing you can do is show up late. I'm sorry to rant about this, but you've seen these things on Facebook. 10 things you can do that cost no money. One of them is to be on time.
Yep.
So in realtor, and I do these Zoom meetings, and I've actually had people tell me, well, our meeting's at 9, but why don't we plan on starting 9 at 10? Because you know how agents are. They all show up late. And I go, seriously? Really? So we're going to plan on starting late because your agents don't show up on time? Really? Are you saying that to me? So I'm sorry to rant. I'll take a breath now. So anyway, you show up right on time and you're going to beat the other agents. So then we say, well, this other company charges 1% less. You can say, by the way, what time was your listing appointment? Oh, I think it was, whatever o'clock. Did they show up on time? Well, pretty close. Pretty close. Well, there you go. I asked you one question and came up with the point of difference. They can't even show up on time, So then they open the door, they look at the watch, thank you for being on time. You say, may I come in? As simple as that, rather than just barging and say, may I come in? Like, oh yeah, come on in. And then if it's appropriate, take off your shoes. I had a woman get a multi-million-dollar listing by taking off her shoes, reaching into her purse, taking out slippers and putting on slippers. And the owner said, oh, thank you so much. We don't allow shoes in our property. Thank you so much. Showing respect for the property. And after that, this is kind of the audible line at the line of scrimmage. Do you tour the property or do you sit down and get to know them? I know some of you say, well, I kind of do both. I tour the property and that's when I get to know them. I get that. The one challenge that you'll have when you tour the property first is at the end of the tour, the only question they're going to have is, what do you think it's worth? Correct? Mm-hmm. They're like a puppy at a buffet table. Well, what do you think it's worth? So then you get sucked into a discussion of price, and you don't want to get into price yet. That's how you lose a listing. So one of the things you could do is say, Mr. Seller, I'd love to see your home, but before we do that, I've got some things I'd like to put down. Could we be right here at the kitchen center island dining room table? You kind of look around and figure out where you'd like to be and take a bit of control. And then you sit down and say, Mr. Seller, first of all, thank you so much for considering me in Century 21 to market your property. There's so many things I can tell you about our company, but the most important thing is what I know about you. So if we could take a few minutes, I would like, if you don't mind me, I'd like to take some notes, and I'd like you to folks just tell me about your situation. What's going on with you guys? And for the next 15 minutes, shut up and take notes.
Agents love to talk. Salespeople love to talk.
Oh, they could talk a dog.
The more you lose.
They could talk a dog off a meat wagon. So just listen. And if you're saying, well, I don't know what to say, download the questions that I talked about at the beginning of the Zoom, the listing questions, and you can have them under your legal pad. You don't have to hide them. You can say, Mr. Seller, I've got a list of some questions that I find very effective in helping me learn a seller situation. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go through, because you go to a doctor, what does the doctor do? She said, I have some questions I'd like to go through. And they got a piece of paper and they look at it. I said, first of all, I'd like to talk about your past health history. Tell me a little bit, what drugs, So you kind of go through that and go through their housing situation or whatever. You can go through those questions. And then here's the most powerful thing you can do. I think it was Jan. Was that you who asked that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the end of this, and you've been taking notes, one of the things you could do is you could draw a line down the center of the legal pad, and on the one side you have facts, on the other side feelings. So you can write, we've lived in the home for, 5 years. We've grown to hate it. Or when you're over there. So over on the right, when you hear them express a feeling, a concern, on whatever it is, you can kind of identify those feelings. And this comes out of psychotherapy and counseling. A counselor's going to listen not only what you say, but how you feel about it. And then here's the kind of the coup de grace that sets you apart from the other realtors. In fact, I'll see if I can remember a role play I did with a woman. It's going to be a very abbreviated thing. I can't remember her name, but I said, so Susan, thank you very much for sharing your situation with me. I just want to make sure that I understand. What I heard you say is that you and your husband have lived in this home together for 5 years, and you really, really enjoyed living here, and your kids have loved it as well. But in the meantime, I hear that your husband has taken a job that's almost an hour away, and it's causing him to get up really early in the morning on a cold, dark morning and drive there. And then when he comes back late at night, he's tired, he's had a long drive. And the other day, he shared with you that he almost drove off the road because he was just too tired. And I hear the absolute fear and concern that something dangerous might happen to your husband as he's attempting to make these long, early morning and late drives. And then I summarized a bunch of other stuff. So do I understand you? So that's what I heard you say. And she said, right, or correct, or that's right. So what you want them to say is some form of that's right. If you read the book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, in his hostage negotiation, he has to summarize the terrorist, vile viewpoint, vile. But at the end, he has to say, he has to summarize their viewpoints, which is so opposite of his own value system. But he says, if I can get the terrorist who just kidnapped a kid to say that's right, I just see hearts up. Okay. That's how you build that rapport. So I know we're kind of at the end of our time here.
If you have questions, you can unmute yourself and talk. Everybody has that ability. So just unmute, ask away, or put it into the question chat box if you want to.
Is there anything that you would say, please don't do this?
Don't be late.
Well, I guess there's two things. The one thing that I would prefer to delay, depending on your connection with the people, I would prefer to delay the discussion of price till after you uncover their needs and build some trust and rapport. So to the degree you can delay that, that's my first advice. If you cover it too soon, you walk in, hey, thanks for coming in. What do you think our place is worth? You're pretty much done. So try to delay the discussion of price as much as you can. So that's why by delaying the tour, they can't even ask you to value home because you haven't even seen it yet.
Becky, did you have a question?
No, I'm so glad that I got in at the tail end of this because I love David. He's got great advice.
Oh.
Great. I love listening to him.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. David, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with our team.